Hello there and then welcome to a brand new video. This is Hub Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. In this lesson, we are looking at the equation of a straight line. And by the end of this lesson, you'll be able to find the equation of a straight line when you are given a point on the line and then the gradient, and also when you are given 2 points on the line. Now, I do hope by viewing this video, you have already gone through how to solve the gradient of a line, because that is really going to help us in this lesson if we are given 2 points. So without much ado, let's quickly look into it. Talking of the equation of a straight line, there are basically two forms we do write that. So the first form is called the general equation of a straight line, and it is written as ax then plus your by plus c is equal to 0. This is what we call the general equation of a straight line. The other way of writing it, which we call the slope equation of a straight line, is y is equal to mx plus c. And this here is the one that is commonly known. In another lesson, we will go through this and then we'll understand what all these are. They are actually the same thing though. But then for the scope of our lesson here, we are looking at the slope equation. Now, talking of the slope equation, let's get to know what each and every variable mean. So for the x and then y we see over here, this x and then this y, they represent the coordinates on the line at each point. But then for our m here, we call it the gradient, which we looked at in our previous lesson. That is the gradient of the equation. Whilst our c here is called the y-intercept. So we have our y-intercept over here. Now for gradient, we have looked at it, so I wouldn't talk much about it. So let's quickly look at what the y-intercept is. So back to my Cartesian plane here, which has been labeled with a scale 1 is to what? 1 unit. If we have a straight line, so I draw this straight line like this. Now this line over here cuts or touches the y-axis somewhere. You see, at one point, you realize that to touch the y-axis. So looking at this line now, it touches our y-axis here. You see, and that is what we call the y-intercept, where it intercepts the y-axis. So sometimes just by looking at a line, you can even determine its y-intercept right away. You get it? So for this one here, you realize that it is touching the y-axis on what? 1. So the y-intercept is 1. You get it? So if I'm to move the line a little bit, if I bring it this way, so this time around, my y-intercept has become what? 2. You see, if I move it this way, it has become 2.5 because the line is cutting the y-axis. Remember, this here is our y-axis. You get it? Okay. So with our y-axis, any point the line cuts the y-axis becomes our what? Y-intercept. It doesn't only restrict itself to the positive. It can also come towards the negative as well. And in this case, it is what? A negative 1. So that is what we call the y-intercept. If a line is this way, you might think you don't have an intercept. You get it? But if the line is extended, you see, it will definitely cut somewhere on the y. So for very short lines that you think they don't cut or touch the y, we extend them to look for those intercepts. That is, if you want to work on the graph. But in the scope of this lesson, we'll be looking at how to actually solve them. You see, so let's quickly look at that as well. So the question now is, how do we find the equation when we are given the gradient of a line and a point? You see, so remember we said the equation of a line is given as what? Y. That is the slope equation, mx plus c. So we want to be able to find this equation when we are given the gradient and then 1 point. What are we going to do? So let's say you are given a point x1, y1, you see, and you are also given a gradient m. So these are what you are given: a point, this here, and then the gradient. To determine the equation of a line, we use a very simple equation, you see. So that is y minus y1, which is equal to m into bracket x minus x1. As simple as that. You see, all we need to do here is then make our y the subject, so that it comes to be in this form over here, and you are done. So where do we get our y1 from? It is actually from the point you were given. You see, the point that you'll be given. Earlier on, I said you are given what? A point. You are given this point and then the gradient. So the point you are given, you substitute its y value for this equation here, and also substitute its x value for what? The equation here. For this x here, for this y here, and then this x over here, they should just be there without being substituted. You get it? So this is basically the formula. Now, with all that said, now let's look at how we can apply in solving questions. So we have to find the equation of a straight line with gradient. The gradient is what? 3. It has a gradient of 3, and then it passes through this point. It passes through this point. So our solution. Looking at the question, we have been given what? Gradient. So m is equal to 3. And then the point that has been given is 1, 4. And in our previous slide, we said if you are given the gradient and then a point, you are given the gradient and a point, then you can easily use the formula y equals your y1, sorry, y minus your y1 being equal to your m into bracket x minus x1. So then we do our substitution, and you must take note that for this you have here, then it simply means that your x1 is what? Your 1, and then your y1 then is going to be what? Your 4. You see, so we have our gradient, which is here. We also have our x1, which is here, you see, and then we also have our y1, which is here. So all you need to do is to what? Substitute. Hence, you are going to say your y minus, this is your y here, you see. So your y minus your y1, which was 4, is then equal to your m, which is actually 3. So 3 into bracket your x minus x1. In this case is what? 1. Then all you need to do is what? Simplify and make y the subject. So you're going to have your y being y minus 4 being equal to 3 multiplies x, and then it also multiplies -1 to give us a 3x, then minus 3. Then trying to make y the subject, we are going to get y being equal to a 3x minus 3. Then this moves all the way to the other side so that it becomes a positive 3. Simplifying further, we have our y being equal to what? 3x plus 1. And this here is the equation we are looking for. So remember, our gradient is still what? 3. So our gradient is 3. And we said the constant here is our y-intercept. You see, so our y what? Intercept is 1. Sometimes you'd be asked to actually look for the y-intercept as well. So if you're able to write the equation this way, you can straightforward say that your y-intercept is 1. So what have we done to solve this question over here? We took note of our gradient, which is m, and then the points that we were given, that is 1, 4. If you take note of that, all you need to do is to substitute it into your given equation. You substitute it into your what? This equation over here. That is your y minus y1 is equal to m into bracket x minus x1. And then you just simplify to make y the subject. Let's solve some few more examples and I think you'll be fine. So in this second question, we have to find the equation of the line that passes through the point A, 2, 1, and then B, 4, and then 5. You ask yourself, where then is our gradient? Because per the formula we have learned, we need our gradient and then the point as well. But in this case, we don't even have the gradient and we have 2 points. That is where we apply what we learned in our previous lesson. So anytime you are given 2 points, you can always solve for your gradient. You can always do what? Solve for your gradient. And we said for any given 2 points, then we said for any given 2 points, then our gradient is given as m is equal to, so y2 minus y1 all over what? Your x2 minus x1. That gives you your gradient. And looking at the set of points we have over here, we have A, which is 2, 1. And we have our B as well, which is what? 4, 5. So we need to find the gradient ourselves. And we need to take note of our x and then y value. So x1, y1, and then your x2, y2. And hence substituting into this above gradient formula, our m then, which is our gradient, is equal to y2. Now y2 gives us 5. So 5 minus your y1, which is what? 1, all over your x2, which is 4, then minus your x1, which is what? 2. Evaluating further, we have our m giving us 4 minus 1, which is a 4, 5 minus 1, which is a 4, all over 4 minus 2, which is a 2. Hence our m is 2. You see? So in this case now, you have gotten your gradient, which is m, to be what? 2. So m is equal to 2. And you have 2 more points. You see, you have A and then B. So you can take any of your choice to solve for your equation. I'll do both so you'd see that they all work, after which we would end this lesson. So taking, and you do not have to do both. You just need one. Okay, so you just need one because they all give us the solution. Hence, for what we are about to do, we are going to take our m to be what? 2. And then the point A, which is 2, 1. Remember, we said if we have a point and then the gradient, then the equation of a line is giving us y minus y1, then which is equal to m into bracket your x minus x1. And per the point we have taken, x1, y1 is going to be what? 2, 1. Hence, substituting, we have our y minus y1. y1 is what? 1. So y minus y1 being equal to your m, which is 2. So 2 into bracket x minus x1, which you have said to be what? 2, because you are taking this point over here. So minus 2. And we are trying to what? Now simplify to make y the subject. So you have y minus 1 is equal to, this multiplies here, and then this multiplies here. So that we have 2x, then minus a 4. Then trying to make y the subject, we are then going to get a y is equal to 2x minus 4. Then this moves to the other side to become a positive 1. So that I have y is equal to your 2x, then minus 3. This here is the equation of the line, as simple as you see. And that is if you use your point A and then M. But if you wanted to rather use B as I said earlier on, nothing changes. You are still supposed to get your answer, provided you do it well. So this time around, taking our m still to be what? 2, and then the point b, and the point b was given as 4, 5. So 4, 5. So in this case, our 4 becomes our x1, and then our 5 becomes our y1. We know our formula to be what? Y minus y1 is equal to your m into bracket x minus x1. So substituting, you have your y minus y1. y1 is what? Our 5. So minus 5 is equal to your m. So your m is actually 2. So you put that there, 2 into bracket x minus x1, which is what? 4. Then I will go over the process of making y the subject again. So you have our y minus 5, which is equal to your 2 times x, which gives you 2x. Then 2 times negative 4, which gives us a negative 8. And making y the subject this time around, you are going to get our y being equal to, so 2x minus 8. Then let's move to the other side to give us a positive 5. So evaluating further, we have our y being equal to your 2x minus 8. Sorry, your 2x still remains 2x. Then you have negative 8 plus 5, which gives us a negative 3. Now, as you can see, this here is the same as what we have over here, despite the fact that over here we use our a, then over here we use our b. So all we are saying is, anytime you have what? A point and then a gradient, this here is the formula you use. You see? But since you can solve your gradient yourself, then you should be able to what? Determine your gradient by using this formula here, which we looked at in our previous lesson. If you are able to determine your own gradient, you can take any of the points, as we have done here, using A, then using your B to solve for the equation of the line. This is how far this lesson is gonna get. I'll leave you with some exercises you can try just to test your understanding. So these are 2 sets of questions you can try on your own. The first one, they are all actually the same, though. You are just going to apply the same set of formulas. So you should know what to do when you have what? The gradient and then a given point. You should also know what to do when you have 2 points. This Hub Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. Now, if this is your first time visiting this channel, you can always choose to subscribe. That is, if you so do wish, so that anytime I release a new lesson, you'll be notified and then learn as well. If there's any issue of concern, you can always let me know at the comment section. And when I see it, I would address it appropriately. Hub Beyond Numbers, learning maths the easy way. See you in our next lesson. Stay blessed and then have a nice day as well. Bye.